Hi, good evening, everybody. This is super exciting. We are just about to start our third season of EduNations webinars, global webinars. Welcome, everyone. My name is Luisa Wójtowicz-Waga, as I hope you know, but if you don't know, that's me. I'm responsible, I'm half of the team responsible for EduNation, and this is actually the third season of our webinars for English teachers and language school owners. Very good to see you. The season that we are starting is in cooperation with EduBears, and today we will have two speakers from EduBears and Lang Lion. Lang Lion I will tell you a little bit more about towards the end of today. I'm actually here only as a hostess. So I will tell you very quickly about the rules of the house. So webinars that we have got this season will be run once a month on a Thursday, and I will tell you later on where to search for information about the coming webinars. I need to take a look because I can see that people are writing. I can already see that you started writing where you're joining us from, so that's perfect. Please continue. It is so exciting and so energizing to see that people are actually joining us from like totally around the world. So please do not hesitate, but let us know where you are from. I am in Warsaw. And Evelina and Boże that you see the screen are in Gliwice, that's Silesia. That's right? Correct? Okay. So the general rule is that our webinars are about 60 minutes long. The second general rule is that they are always extremely practical. So take out your notebooks, take out your pens and pencils, and be ready to take notes as crazy as possible in this super fast fashion. What else was I supposed to tell you? The webinars are recorded, as you probably, hopefully know. So all of you who have registered, you will receive both the recording and a certificate of participation tomorrow. And unfortunately, because we are sending a lot of these emails, a lot of you have signed up, thank God, and so we're super happy about that. You may find us in your inbox, but you may also unfortunately find us in your spam box. So please look for our recording and the certificate in both of these places, because I never know where in the end we will end up. And probably I have a feeling that this is it as far as my introduction is concerned, because today is not me who is the main speaker, but it is Evelina and it is Błażej from EduBears, who will be talking to you today about the power of language exams at your school, and they will help you learn about 3 perspectives and milestones to consider. And knowing Evelina and knowing Błażej, I know that it's going to be extremely practical. It always is. So I'm looking forward to what you both guys have to say. I'm going to disappear for about 50 minutes right now, and I'm going to come back at around 9 o'clock p.m. Polish time, so Central European time. I don't know what time it is where you guys live, but you can write it in the comments section. And big lady boss is here. Hello, lady boss. I will return and I will let you guys know about when and where to sign up for the next sessions, because we have got a plan of the next 6 months webinars coming. So I'm off. I hope to be. I will come back in about 50 minutes, but don't worry, because you know that I'm here to help you if anything happens. So this is your presentation,
Yes.
and I'm off. Good luck.
Thank you, Luisa, very much. So we can say hi
Yeah,
one more
hello.
time. You can maybe some of you know us. If you don't, let us introduce ourselves one more time. We are both teachers, educators, deeply at heart. We work with different age groups, teenagers, children, adults as well. Very nice. Also a parent. Me, not yet. Hopefully in the future. It's important from the perspective of today's webinar because we'll talk about different perspectives, including also the perspective
Parents.
of
That's
parents.
right.
Yeah. So I think let's get this party started. And the topic of our webinar is all about language exams. And the first thing we would like to ask you, when you hear exams, when your students hear the word exam, wow, do they look like this man here? Are they scared? And our next question is, do you organize any language exams in your language schools, in the schools when you work? So please type it in the chat box if you know any language exams or you do any language exams. We really want to know if we are on the same page.
That's
So we're waiting for you to. You can give us the names of language exams, yeah? So let's wait. The first sip of tea. Mhm.
Maybe you can also say what your students feel when they have to think about
Oh.
exams ahead of them. I suppose they feel mostly, I don't know, scared.
Yeah, because like also it's all because of school. When you think of exams, you really feel like the exam is something to make your students feel scary, or which is nothing good. Yeah, I would say. Okay, well, so before you start typing, we can tell you that creating an exam path in your language school, in your school where you work, can be quite beneficial one. So what do we mean by that? It can be beneficial for many different groups. Firstly, we cannot mention our lovely students. As we mentioned before, their first conception about or misconception about exams is that it's something bad. But what we want to do by creating this beneficial exam path, if we want to show students that exams should be treated as a goal that they need to fulfill, because it's easier for them to study when they have got one. Also, it can be the beneficial path for you, us, I mean, teachers, because I can tell you before I started working with language exams, I don't know if you had the same, but probably yes. When I heard that I have to prepare my students for yet another thing, yet another exam, external exams, I was like, really, I'm already so tired. Did you have the same?
What else do I have to do in my class? Yeah.
Yeah,
That was my thought,
yeah,
honestly.
and I was really like discouraged, but now I'm really, and we are both really encouraged. Hannah, you texted about Cambridge exams, and
Yeah.
we do believe they are the best ones to consider when creating an exam path in your language school. And our presentation today will also comprise those certificates. Yeah, so we have a beneficial path for parents, for students, for the teachers, and for parents, because parents, I would say, is an important element of this system. I would say sometimes it's difficult for them to control their children's progress, linguistic progress, and trust me, trust us. Today we try to prove that parents can be a very strong element of exam culture in your language school. So those three perspectives will be considered today, very important ones, I would say, 3 points of view. And you can ask us which exams, like we mentioned quite before, we do recommend, we don't want to advertise any specific, I would say, exams that exist on the market. However, we believe that those two exams, when we consider them, should have some features. Like, for example, they should check speaking skills. because we do believe that speaking is one of the most important, one of the that skill that students need to know to communicate in the future, like fluently. So sometimes parents tell us, "Oh, my child has been attending a course and he or she doesn't speak." So it's very important that such an exam or such exams check also the way they speak. And of course, such exams should be famous, let's say. They should be recognized internationally, meaning that the thing is that sometimes schools organize some internal exams and they issue some certificates. It's okay if you do this. However, it looks better and parents trust it more when we have got a certificate that was issued by an international institution. Let's take a look at this comment section. And how I don't see much interest in exams for young learners among our parents. However, some students passed them last year with nice results, and I think these exams can be good motivation for some.
Yeah, and I think we totally agree with Hannah's opinion here, and we will talk about it also later on about this fact that a successful exam can be your motivation.
Indeed, mostly for children because sometimes it's difficult to motivate them. Yeah, right. So those two things are very important. I would also mention that Hannah mentioned here in the chat exams for young learners, and I think if you decide to choose exam path, it should offer exams for every age group. So starting from young learners up to even adults.
So
it
a
should be
complete path.
yes, I would say so. So three things, and luckily on the market there are plenty of such, I would say, examples. I would say. And yes, extra work for the teacher to prepare, I would say, students to the exam. Well, not really, and this we're going to prove in a second. We're going to prove in a second. But when it comes to a teacher, let us take a look at those three things that can motivate you to introduce exam path in your language school, for example. So firstly, we do believe that a teacher then has a clear teaching goal. You know, if you teach in public school or generally you have some kind of syllabus, it's of course a goal to fulfill, let it name it this way. However, for me, it has always been the strong motivation because it's also not about how much students are assessed, but also somewhere in between lines, the teacher is also assessed his or her work. So this teaching goal, it motivates me a lot. And also educators gain credibility and respect in the parents' eyes, meaning that if your children, if your teenagers pass some exams successfully, then you're perceived even more as an expert. Yeah, because it means that you know what you do, your parents trust us, and if you are a language school owner at the same time, it also influences on how many people decide to continue
Their courses.
their courses. Yeah. And finally, we feel satisfaction because of our student success. Trust me, some language schools, some private schools even organize big events during which they hand in certificates, language certificates. During such events, you can appreciate your teachers, their work, and it's some kind of, I would say, important event. And we feel this success.
And Boże, we must also mention all those chocolates and flowers we get from our students after they have passed their exams.
Well, let's make it clear. We normally get, I would say, sweets, but it causes that those gifts come like in bigger number.
Yeah, in bulk.
In bulk. Oh, I was looking for it. So extra goal, which is not mentioned here. Yeah. And speaking of, we would say extra work. So is it our exams another thing to remember about for a teacher? Not really, I would say, because we do believe that a lot of exam tasks available, for example, in Cambridge exams, starting from those for the youngers up to those who are at a high level, are sometimes strictly correlated with the syllabus. So the exercises that you do during lessons can also influence on how well your students will know exam tasks. And in this part, we would like to show you how to smuggle wisely, if you can name it this way, how to smuggle exam material using your course books, because we believe you use different course books. We are going to show our examples, our books that were published in the company for which we work. However, you can easily find some correlation in your ones. Okay, so let us start because we mentioned speaking. Speaking is a very important skill, and during, for example, Cambridge exams, when a child or teenager comes and uses English only, it's definitely a plus. So how to do this, how to practice it during lessons? For example, using English only policy or implementing classroom language. So please text us. Do you use those two elements, so English only policy and classroom language with your students? Because we do, Evelina.
Yeah, and of course, it's important to use the English only policy, not only when it comes to you, the teachers, but also like require it from your students, right? So that they also use only English. And this is where classroom language comes in handy, right?
Yeah, today I had a very interesting situation. I was trying to fight, let's say, one student's a kid. He was trying to speak, I would say, our mother tongue, and everything I was translating into English what he said, and I made him repeat after me. So it looks really funny, but I know that deeply inside it will have the effect later in the future.
And you know it also from your perspective as an examiner, right?
Yep.
That it's worth the effort, right? Like introducing classroom language and getting your students used to asking if we can repeat something, or when they don't understand, they can say it in L2. Right?
It becomes something normal for them at the time on the exam. Yeah. So yes, Johanna, you do. So I believe most of you do this. If you don't, it's a great idea to think about starting those. I would say starting using those policies. Also, when it comes to speaking among different age groups, we use a microphone.
Oh yeah.
And something we call snowball. These are some kind of speaking routines that we use during lessons with our young learners up to the age of 11, we would say. And how does it work? Like we use this beautiful white. It's white because it's new. Usually it's dirty
Not
because
that
of, children's hands. But how do we use it? How to practice speaking? For example, we can practice some exam questions. Like, Verena, you're my student now.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Super. So my question to you, do you like reading books? Be careful.
Yes, I do.
Okay, ask me, please.
Do you like reading books?
No, I prefer to listen to audiobooks. Tell me, please, do you smile a lot?
No, I don't.
Okay, ask me again.
Do you smile a lot?
Yes, always. You can also use microphone, mostly with younger students to practice speaking mostly exam questions. Like, are you thirsty?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What would you like to eat?
A strawberry.
Ask me.
What would you like to eat?
I think sushi is a good idea. So you see, we use those. I would say we use those gadgets. Oh, thank you. During our lessons, you don't have to spend a lot of time on it, on them, because it's really enough to make your students feel free with using English. We, of course, ask different types of questions. Also, exam ones, as we mentioned before, but not also. Sometimes students have a lot of things to tell us. So instead of saying not now, you can ask this person using a microphone. So
yeah, and definitely allow for some personalization in the lesson. Why not?
And those gadgets, of course, open students up. That's why we use them, and they are some kind of intensifiers of speaking.
Definitely.
That's how I call them. For all older students, I mean teenagers, we also have some speaking practice, like some kind of routines. Like for example, you can see cards, which are, I will show it. They are like the topics correspond to the topics which are present on Cambridge exams. So house, people, family, and On both sides, you can find different questions, mostly exam questions, that you can also practice during your lessons. Like, let's take a look with house and home. Evelina, who do you live with?
I live with my family.
Now you choose a question for me.
So where do you eat in your house?
Oh, I eat literally everywhere. When my girlfriend comes, only in the kitchen.
Okay.
So it's a funny way because like you can gather exam questions in one, I would say, place. With, of course, older students, you can prepare such cards once and you can use them forever because they are like reasonable. So as you can see, practicing speaking skills, exam speaking skills seems easy and it's not a big deal. When it comes to younger learners, when it comes again to Cambridge exams, they are supposed to know some adjectives of place, like behind, in front of, between. So we practice it with our students by handing in them some kind of flashcards, like for example fruits. They work in pairs, maybe on the floor, and their task is to give each other comments, like put a pineapple on the umbrella. So they put like put it's a peach, I believe, next to the sun. One of the exam tasks that you can meet on Cambridge Riley starters, as far as I know, but it's also great practice because sometimes students make fun, like put, for example, an orange on this boy's head, which is kind of funny for them. So you've definitely used some flashcards, you've got pictures in your books, so you can practice this exercise that way. Also, we in our methods believe that teaching English to young learners using full sentences from the very beginning is something really beneficial for them. Because on the exam, mostly when it comes to exam for the young learners, they meet, I would say, comments written in full sentences. Yeah. So, for example, when you have got flashcards, we don't say it's floor, but we don't say floor, but we say it's a floor. Yeah, so we put the word in the whole sentence. The same comes with other sentences, as you can see, not chocolate, but chocolate is sweet. Or not skate, but I can't skate. So we practice those constructions. So if you teach some young learners up to the age of 10, 11, let's say maximum 8, 9, you can introduce new words in full sentences. So trust us, as the time flies, it will be something natural for them. And when they see such constructions on the exam, they won't be scared. Yeah, it will be something normal for them. Yeah. The same when it comes to reading, in the case of young learners. Do with your students a lot of true false exercises. It's very important that we have contact with such things. You don't even have to tell your students to write yes, no, true, false. We can even put a tick or cross because it's also something which is present on exams for young learners. And the same comes with texts for older students. We believe that students sometimes don't like reading comprehension tasks, the same with listening, but you can try to smuggle them, those exercises in a funny way. Like, for example, as you can see, this listening here on the left, we are supposed to remember one fact from each life of every person mentioned here, which I would say it introduces some kind of elements of focusing on the text, which students like because they have a goal in performing an exercise, so it's great. The same comes with the exercise on the right. We are supposed to match those texts with the pictures that I had to unfortunately cut, but trust me, they are below. So there are plenty of ideas also on the internet. Also, you can watch previous donation webinars. There are plenty of ideas on how to perform reading, writing, and listening tasks with your students. So it's done in a funny way and also practical because, come on, listening and reading are those skills which are also checked during Cambridge exams. Yeah, for example, not only Cambridge, but generally. Yeah. Uh, and this is very important triangle that we mentioned before. So we have just discussed teachers, so you don't have to worry about having much more work after you decide to implement exam path in your language school. You can just stick to what you have in your books. And of course, please bear in mind all those goals, all those benefits that we mentioned. But teachers, only teachers, Evelina? Not really, I believe. That's why you're also today with us. We need to mention two other perspectives, which are
Also important.
yes,
And crucial to this exam path in your school. I mean, we want to talk about students' perspective now, and finally about the parents' perspective. So when it comes to the students, what do they get? First of all, we strongly believe that what they get by taking part in an exam path in your language school is a kind of a clear road to success. They get clear-cut requirements. They know what to do, how to do it, how to master a certain piece of language or skill at each level of their learning process. They get from your school and from you, the teachers, they can get a map of roads leading to success. So at the end of this complete educational path, they will be awarded with a renowned, possibly international certificate. So this is clearly a huge success for them. Now, why do I need to study? When you're a teacher, you very often hear this from your students, especially teenage ones, right? When they start to protest against the idea of studying and doing homework. So actually, when they have this exam coming ahead, they actually start to feel the need to study. They know they need to do their homework. They know that they need to kind of move strongly or use two legs. One of the legs is studying and taking part in the class, but the other leg, which also needs to be very strong, is the leg connected with their private work, like homework, doing homework, like studying at home. And this is very important here. Of course, this kind of self-awareness doesn't start from the very word go, you know, it is built up with age, and it also comes with time in your classes. So what we do in our courses is that, for example, with 11, 12-year-olds, we already try to build this kind of awareness of where they are on their road to success. They have already, at this stage, they have probably already taken some Wiley exams, but they are still waiting for some more exams in the future. So we try to show them where they are on this road to C1, C2 maybe in the future, or maybe B2. We try to talk about their ultimate goals in learning English, why they actually learn English, why they want to study it, what they can do when they speak English well, and what can't they do if they don't speak English well. And these lessons really have an impact on what they start to think about exams, about learning English in general, I would say. We actually have an example for you here, and this is where we would like to show you the video of one of our teenager students who has been in our exam path for a very long time, since she was a child.
Yeah,
right?
she started at the age of 2 or 3.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So why don't you listen to her? Let's watch the video now then.
I'm 13 years old and I've been studying English with Daddy Eddie since I was 4. I remember having really great time on my English lessons, and I am kind of lazy, so sometimes I didn't want to go. But after I arrived and said hi to all my friends, and like the lesson started, I had really good time. I've been studying English for a few years now, and lately I passed Cambridge exam at B2 level. So it is a great accomplishment for me. I'm sorry. I love English is a big part of my life, especially now because like I'm a teenager. I watch many shows in English because it's great. Like the original language is great. I have many online friends and most of them are from abroad, so we speak English. And I know we won't meet, but like they're my friends, so it's good we can communicate, you know. Uh, Also, I have many plans for my future, and one of them is studying abroad. So English will be really, really. I will really need it. Yeah. Bye.
Okay, so this was Zuzia
Yes.
and her teenage voice in about this exam culture. She wasn't bribed to
No, not at all.
record this video, not at all. But as you can hear, English is really important to her, right? She can watch her favorite shows and she knows she will probably want to study abroad in the future. So this is the moment where the self-awareness starts to build up.
Yeah, it also takes time to make it work because, like as we mentioned, she has been studying English for a couple of years. That was what she said. But as you can see, how great effects it can bring. So you're at the level when you're teenage students or even sometimes younger learners, they understand why. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
so you
I would
try to
say.
introduce these whys into their life, right, and their purpose of learning English. Now, speaking of which, we can actually talk about SMART goals, as we most of us know really well. We work better, we work more effectively if our goals to be fulfilled are actually smart. So we can definitely agree, Błażej, right, that exams present smart goals. I mean, they are, first of all, specific because our students and we teachers know which exams we are preparing our students to.
Yeah, I would also add that we don't make a big deal of it. We simply want to show your students how beneficial it can be for them to pass once, I mean, exams. It very often happens that teachers use exams to, as a negative tool. Oh, because you're going to have exam, you don't study, you will fail. But we want to approach our students from a different perspective, meaning that we want to show them that there is a goal which is a positive thing rather than something that they should be like scared of. Yeah.
Definitely. So they know which exam they are working for.
Yes.
The exam is also a measurable goal because once they get the certificate, they are awarded with shields or grades, depending on the level of the exam. An exam is also an achievable goal, and you have to believe us because this is what we do in our everyday teaching life, right? Like we attack our students, and this is what Błażej has presented before. We attack our students with exam-like type of exercises and activities in the lessons, so they slowly get used to this type of tasks. They're not surprised by anything in the exam. And this kind of challenge is also something that we try to, make it easier for our students. I mean, in Eduverse or in schools we cooperate with, we have this idea that we push our students to lower level exams. I mean, we try to encourage them to take lower level exams than the level they actually present or they are actually at. So they are highly likely to pass those exams and achieve a success. Now, an exam is also a realistic goal because, on one hand, there are those doable tasks and a certain level of challenge in the exam. Plus, there's a very real perspective of getting a certificate, something that is a material thing and a confirmation of your level, of your success, a kind of a verification. And obviously, exam is time bound because there's a deadline to which you work, and students are aware of that, and they know when this time is looming ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Students work I would say, more efficiently when they are presented with a specific, I would say, goal, which is a smart one. I can tell you that it's also great for the teachers. Like I work much better, much faster, and I find bigger motivation when it comes to teaching when I'm presented with a smart goal. And for me, that smart goal is definitely an exam. Doesn't matter what kind of age groups I teach, starting from younger learners up to adults. It is something which is good to me, I would say.
Okay. Now, one of the things I would also like to show when it comes to the student's perspective is also that it is the success that motivates us to work harder, to work further on, and not the other way around. There are certain popular myths and beliefs about motivation. People very often believe that it is actually motivation which leads us to success. But as it was, for example, confirmed or agreed in one of the articles published by Guay, Marsh, and Boivin in 2003 in the Journal of Educational Psychology, it is the actual success that motivates us to work harder. So we need this feeling of success. Our students go from one exam to another. They climb up this ladder of exams, and they are simply more and more successful with time.
Yeah.
But we also have to take into consideration the situation or what might happen if they fail their exam. They might feel ashamed. We have to have a way to tackle this feeling and to show them what to do next with this objective result.
Yeah, I would also mention that failure is an option, because sometimes you hear that it's not an option, but it is an option still. But a well tailored and I would say well thought over exams that you choose to your language school, for example, will not only present the feedback to the final results to the students, but also the feedback. For example, in the case of YD Cambridge exams, young learners are not only presented with the shields that we mentioned before, but also there's like piece of text or there are pieces of texts of what they already can do in English, what their basic skills are, and how they can improve those skills that they were not that good at, let's name it this way. So a parent is not only presented with a dry mark like F or D or A, but there's like quite great elaboration on what else should be done to make it even better. The same as when it comes to Cambridge exams for teenagers. As you probably know, it's very difficult to completely fail them. Even if you approach, for example, A2, let's say B1 preliminary exam, you can pass it like with A2 or with B2 as far as we know, but you only get the grades, sorry, the points, which are later transformed into grades. So even if your students get A2 level when they pass B1, when they approach B1 exam, it's still something. It's not that they failed, but their level has been, the level of English has been assessed as A2, and they should know what to do, what to focus on to make it B1, for example, in a year's time. Let's name it this way. So, very important thing is to also educate parents, because well-educated parents on what the results mean will also be your, I would say, supporters. And speaking of the devil, I would say, parents, yeah, both, I would say, it's the last element of our, is the last group that will take great benefit of this exam path in the language school. For example, when there is a parent that comes to your school and wants to register and enroll his or her child to a language course, he has a great choice of similar businesses in the area probably, and why he or she should choose yours. Because exam path is a well-knit plan, meaning that if a child comes to a school, the parent of this child knows that in the next consecutive years, an ambitious and very, I would say, demanding language path in this positive meaning, of course, path, educational path will be provided. So what we do with our programs that we provide language schools with is that our concept is that we have a child that is two, like Zuzia, and leaves the school at the age of 14, having B1 certificates in his or her
Or
hands.
even B2 maybe.
Oh, why not? Yeah, exactly. So parents don't have to. What's the benefit for the parents? They do not need to. Be afraid of the fact that this exam path will be over, because they can sleep well at night, that his or her or their children are provided with the continuity that will come with as the year come. Also the continuity is also passing here.
So we know what to do with them, and
Yeah.
we know what will happen in their class, right?
Indeed. So that's another benefit for the parent, and trust us, a lot of, I would say, parents decided to register their children to the courses that are correlated with some exams. The same as that it's not only about providing educational path for years, but it's also about English that is verified not only by the teacher or methodology consultant that works in that particular school, but English is verified by some kind of external, international, well-known, for example, Cambridge institution. So of course you can tell the parents of your students that, well, they did a really good job that year. They can read now long text, they can write perfectly, write stories, for example, but still it's you. You are the language school owner, and deep inside the parent may know that he or she pays you. So the feedback that he or she receives is okay, can believe, but still deeply inside he may not fully trust you. That's why here you have he or she again receives some kind of external confirmation, which is like very difficult to be discussed. Yeah, I would say questions.
Or question,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So that's very important. And all in all, parents will be more willing to help when it comes to supporting their children in their way to exams. Very often, I witnessed a situation that a parent came to me. He said that he knows that the child is still not perfect in English, and he or she told me, that parent told me that I can count on their full cooperation in terms of preparation to the exam. So parents are on your side then.
Definitely.
And what we also do in our method, we organized mostly with younger learners up to the age of 10, 11. We organized something which is called 2-minute speeches. So at the end of every lesson, parents come to the classroom for the last
2 minutes?
Yeah, up to 2 minutes of the lesson, and we tell them what we did during the particular lesson, what the homework is, so the parent is also well informed. And I also mention how those exercises that we did were connected with exam tasks.
Yeah, if it's an exam group, definitely we do it.
Definitely.
Okay, so now what I can also say from my point of view as a parent, not only as a teacher, is that, well, I think I need to know that first of all, I can trust both the school and the teacher of my children. And also I expect some results because, well, let's be honest, I pay for English classes, okay? And sometimes it happens that parents see this whole process of paying for their children's English lessons as, something very mundane and something really difficult for their budget, I would say. And you need to know that there will be some finishing line in this whole process. Probably most of our students will just need maybe B2, maybe B2 plus in their adult life. And this is where we can tell the parents of our students that yes, there will be a finishing line, and yes, we can actually make it happen for your children. So you can trust us because we cooperate with international institutions which will verify the objective level of your child's English. And this is what I, as a parent, just need to know, because there are also other things that I want to provide for my children, like maybe other languages, other skills that they need to learn as well. So I think parents should not should not look at English courses as should not consider them as never-ending marathons, right? But something with a finishing line.
Yeah, it's very important what you're saying, because not only students are supposed to know where the end comes, but also parents, not only from this financial point of view, but parents are very often not experts in education. They have many different jobs. They are not supposed to be ones.
They don't have to.
They don't have to, yeah, because they pay you and they want the best service possible, we would say. So definitely thanks to this exam path present in your language school, right off the bat, you can tell a parent that comes to your school that, hey, education is somehow divided into stages, we can say, and we start at this point and we finish at this point. So it's also like it's easier for a parent to imagine this whole development process.
It's not just a child going to an English class every week, but it's a child achieving some results, right?
Yeah, and you can also brag about your child attending an exam path course. Let's say the name it this way again, and it sounds also more professional. Let's say. Right, we are heading towards the end, and you're very silent. Some single comments appeared, a compliment to Evelina's voice, which I also love, and a compliment to Zuzia's teacher, and thank you. We'll tell. We know some of her teachers, and as we are heading towards the end, we'd like to ask you: do you now feel that the idea of exams is something to consider in your language schools? Will you think it over? You can tell us what you know, because we're a little bit afraid that it's so silent.
That everybody has fallen asleep. Right?
Oh, yes, yes.
If it's the evening.
Yeah, it's too late for coffee. So let's wait for a second, and we'll be heading towards the end of the webinar.
So I hope we have managed to present those three perspectives and the fact that a complete educational path connected with international exams is a really beneficial one.
Yeah, and if you want to build such an exam path with us, it's very possible. So visit our website to talk about how TED courses and other consecutive ones can help you in building an exam path in your language school. We provide such courses for more than 400 schools. In Poland, in the Czech Republic, in Slovakia, in Spain, in Italy as well. So your school can be next. Contact us and let's keep in touch. So we can say thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we are waiting for Luisa. Okay, Luisa is here.
I'm back. I'm back. Thank you very much, you guys. I think I was kind of considering why I was not writing anything in the comments, but I was just listening so attentively to what you were saying there. No space. Yeah. Thank you very much, Evelina. Thank you very much, Błażej. Super interesting, as always. What else was to be expected? Thank you to all of you who were listening to us in all your beautiful countries. Now, I would like to inform you very, very briefly before I say goodnight about what is next to expect. So, first of all, I will put this banner here. If you want to see our next webinars, and I'm going to actually show them to you in a moment, you go to edunation.global/webinars, and you will see all the sessions that we have planned together with EduBest and together with Lang Lion until April 2023. That is how well organized we are. I will just very, very quickly show you. The next webinar is on the 15th of December. So a week before Christmas, there's going to be Kasia Paśnicka from Lang Lion, and she will be talking to you about whether you are thinking about having your own language school. What an interesting topic. And then we will see you again. So as you can see, after each below each information about each webinar, there is a possibility to sign up. Then in January, there will be Anna Popławska talking to you from EduNation and EduNation Global, talking to you about 10 ideas for teaching listening skills. And then, so you can sign up, as you can see, and then EduBears are back. You will see Błażej again with his colleague Adam. They both like each other very much, so all of their sessions are just enjoyable and entertaining, but also very, very clever. The two guys from EduBears will be talking about 5 mistakes to avoid on the way to a successful educational brand. Again, super practical, very interesting. Then Lang Lion is back in March. Hold on, where's Lang Lion? Here they are. Lang Lion is back in March with a webinar on effective communication in modern language schools. And then in April, last but not least, it is me talking to you about 10 teaching mistakes you should avoid. That really sounds exciting, doesn't it? I think it is a super season that we have got ahead. So if you want to sign up to all the webinars, you need to go to edunation.global/webinars, and we will be reminding you in emails, obviously, about each session. But you can just have your registration process done with tonight and then forget until April about any necessity to sign up, because you will be signed up today already. All right. So Błażej, Evelina, thank you very much for your wonderful talk tonight. And I'm saying good night to everybody. And I will see you guys in December. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Bye.